Boom.
Yeah, I would say either way, like even if we're just sitting here talking and I give you the look like to start it, just start it, give a clap, just so that when I'm in there editing, I know how to sync it.
All right, Hesh Boy gave us the clap. We good to go? Yeah? All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Insiders Podcast, presented by Monarch Heavy Haul, DSC Construction, and Extreme Recycling. Today, we're joined by Broc Shoemaker. What up, Broc? Thanks for coming on.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, big whip guy Broc.
Big whip.
So, Broc Shoemaker, nice to have you. We've been trying to get you in here. We've been talking about you a bunch lately. You've kind of went from race guy to full-time whip guy. I feel like that's probably the best way to start out, right? That's probably the most relevant.
Yeah, I mean that makes a long story real short, in a sense. Yeah.
So let's start it right from the beginning. First of all, we got Hesh Boy behind the camera. Shout out to Hesh Boy. I feel like
one day he'll get in front of it.
I feel like I always forget to shout him out. He's here every time, and he fucking is kind of making all of it happen. So shout out to Hesh Boy. Hesh Boy, come over here. Show your face. Show your.
Give a smile to all these people.
Don't fuck all that.
Get in here, boy. Come on,
there,
get in here. Just don't bump my table.
Show your face.
Look at this young gem.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, get out.
Yeah,
That's really.
get back.
Whoa.
Get back to your spot, dude.
Know your place.
So shout out to young Hesh. So, Broc Shoemaker, where did it all start for you? Are you from California? When did you start racing? How'd you get into dirt bikes?
Yeah, I'm from California, born and raised. I was born in a super weird town called Tarzana, kind of like LA-ish, but I grew up in Agua Dulce, where they filmed the Flintstones at Vasquez Rocks, little no-namer town. But yeah, I mean, I was in a sense basically like born into racing. My dad raced professionally, my grandpa, all that, and my mom's water broke at Coliseum Supercross. So I mean,
like
literally
at the stadium.
Yeah, it was like I don't remember exactly what the story is, but they were there. I don't know where they were at there, but they were there, and she rushed from there and made it to Tarzana. And that's where I was born. But yeah, I was literally like born into it.
Damn.
Wow, you were legitimately.
You didn't have a choice.
Yeah, no choice. This is it.
She's like, "Hey, the baby's coming. Can I have him on the finish line?"
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have a champion born right now.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
That's what every moto mom wishes.
Yeah. Especially today.
So, how old were you when you started racing? Did you get right into it super young, or what was the deal?
Yeah, started riding when I was like 3. Started doing little local race event stuff when I was like 5 or something like that. And then actually not a lot of people know this, but I actually was like kind of like a rodeo kid before I was like a racer kid, because my mom did professional barrel racing and grew up on a ranch and all that. And just kind of did racing and riding for fun all the way till I was like 12 or 13. Went and did my first amateur national up at Mammoth, raced super mini up there, and did pretty well. I got a 5th, and everybody was pumped on it because I just did it for fun, and we beat some factory kids straight up, and kind of just was like, hey, like, you know, my dad was like, if you want to do this, like, you know, we could do this. I'll help you do it, but, like, you know, we're either all in or we're doing it for fun. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. This is rad. And just literally kind of went from there.
That's it.
Yeah. It was definitely not planned by any means.
Did you, growing up like rodeo life, did you ever try any barrel racing or any or bull riding, anything like that?
I did it all. I rode sheep when I was like 5. It's called mutton busting. I had like little buckles I won from riding sheep.
That's cool.
Then yeah, I did some barrel racing stuff. I did team roping, team pinning. I rode calves. I rode like small bulls. Yeah, I pretty much did it all except for like full blown bulls, just because I was like a little kid at the time. They'd freaking kill you, but
that's actually so wild.
I was pretty redneck.
That is wild. Did you ever see yourself being like full jockey guy, like
No,
Kentucky Derby shit?
No, I always thought that shit was so lame. To be perfectly honest, yeah, I was like, I used to like make fun of people who rode English because like you're all like hiked up with your little nut hugger tights and all that.
Right.
But,
Well, and I mean, those guys are like 100 pounds, like 5'1".
Dude, they're literally full-grown men that are like 5'3", 90 pounds max.
Yeah.
It's freaking weird, but you got to be a special character to do that.
It's very special.
Basically, Hesh Boy. Basically,
no, he's way too heavy
He's
now.
got too much hair
Hesh
weight.
Boy's figure. Yeah, no, Hesh Boy's got you got a good figure on you, dude.
Whoa. Now you're making it weird.
Yeah, sorry, dude. So what?
No, why'd you have me show up late? What were you guys doing?
I didn't have you show up late, bro. You showed up late, and Hesh Boy was pissed that you showed up late.
Yeah, he calls me 3 times in a row again. I'm gonna punch him in the face. On record. Right now.
He won't do it, dude. I got you.
That's funny.
The cameras are rolling. Let's have a brawl. That sells.
Little boxing match.
What was that old company? Controversy Sells.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that was funny.
Oh man, I could get into a whole bunch of cool stuff off that. But anyway, so when did you get into the whips? Like, long story short.
Long story short, I always thought like it would be really cool, like when racing finished and all that, you know, to try to maybe kind of pursue that. But then, you know, I kind of let that go a long time ago. And then, one day this past 2020, it was like sometime in November or something like that. I was meeting up with Gas Productions to go do some filming in the hills with like Kalana and those guys. And we rolled up to the Humphreys house, and they were all still sleeping, little hungover from the night before, and we kind of just were like, dude, like, screw it, we're sick of waiting, let's go ride somewhere else. And McNeil's house is right down the road, and I'd never even met McNeil before, so, you know, props to him for letting me come out and all that. Super cool dude.
Such a rad dude.
Yeah,
Jared's
literally just hit him up, and we're like, hey, dude, you know, plans kind of fell through. Do you care if we come ride? You know, and Gas was like, you know, I'll do an edit for you and all that. And he was like, yeah, cruise out. Rolled out there, started riding the ramps with Jared, doing all that, and literally just took off from there. I think I called Jared like every day after that, like, hey mate, you want to ride today? Like, and
once you start hanging out with Australians, you start calling them mate.
Yeah,
like, you're like, hey, do you want to ride at your house with me?
Yeah.
And
so when you went to Jared's, that first time, had you already hit ramps, or was that your first time?
Yeah, no, I'd hit ramps a few times before. I grew up out by Wyvern, the old Red Bull compound, and used to ride out there, riding some outdoor supercross stuff, and then, you know, random days here and there, we'd kind of mess around and do a quick little ramp session for like 20 minutes, but it was nothing crazy, like literally like straight jumping and like doing like little baby whips. And then, I went to Jared's and kind of started like actually trying to focus on whips, and then I got decent at them like relatively quickly, and I was just like, you know what, this is super fun. I can come out with friends, session for an hour, drink a beer after. I don't gotta like train and do all this crazy stuff. I'm riding a stock bike. I'm like, this is dope. Like, I want to try to do this, and literally just kind of went from there.
So what is like, I mean, it's for me I hit a ramp at Maddo's, like the little 45 footer a couple weeks ago or whatever, and I was like trying to figure out how to make the bike go sideways even a tiny bit, and it was just not really working. How the fuck do you go from like hitting the ramp like a normal moto jump to all of a sudden just like, when you go off of it now, it's fucked. to say, like, I mean, all you guys, the way all you guys go off the ramps it's retarded, with all due respect.
Yeah.
And I say that in the coolest, nicest way possible.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're literally carving up the face of it. Like,
That's what's weird too, is it doesn't break at all, huh? Like, break loose.
No, and that's what I mean.
Leaning just scares me going up a ramp.
Yeah, I mean, you can break it loose. Like, I had my first encounter with that at Jared's on a super kicker where I cranked way too hard and it slipped right off the top. So like, you can break it loose, but it's really hard. So that's it's hard because like, you grow up riding moto and you're so used to moto tracks, like that thing slides right off the lip, does whatever you want like that. But like, you go to do that on a ramp and you go to slide it, it's gonna catch and you're going the other way,
the wrong way.
You're probably ejecto-ceto, cause like it doesn't work like that. It's a totally different animal for sure. But it's literally just carving up the top, and then once you leave the lip, like it just kind of depends on the whip that you're gonna do. Like moto whips are still kind of similar feel and style, kind of like leaning and throwing it off. Honestly, the weirdest ones is probably seat bounce whips, because you literally like seat bounce so freaking hard and try to like loop out off the lip to get the bike to go up and turn it down and all the crazy stuff. It's
so
actually a
trippy.
lot more to it than you think. Like I've
Yeah.
learned so much from those guys, and I think that's why I progressed as much as I did, as quick as I did. I mean, I still have more to go for sure, but I'm so thankful to be in with the guys that I am in there with, like Twitch and Matto, Berryman, McNeil, Winky. All
You're
those,
riding with the best.
yeah, on a daily basis, and I learned so much from them so quick. Like even too, like you'd never know, but there's so much bike setup that goes into
for
it.
sure.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Suspension probably too, huh?
Dude, suspension, your fork height, your sag, like, where you run your wheel in the swing arm to make it carve around quick, like, just,
A lot.
a lot more than you think.
And it's cool to have that many opinions, like Twitch, Winky, like dudes that have been there and done it, guys that are currently doing it.
Yeah.
Like you have everyone's opinion, so you take a little bit from everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you've got a lot
yeah.
of experience
Yeah.
telling you, kind of guiding you.
Yeah, I mean, my first day I rode with Twitch at Matto's, I was, like, trying to figure my suspension out, and I just got, like, my first set of ramp suspension, and I was, like, struggling with it the way it was coming off the ramp, and Twitch comes over, and he feels it, and he's like, dude, shit's fucked. Get it redone.
He's really good with suspension.
Dude, yeah. And then,
Is he?
Yeah, he's super smart with it. Like,
Yeah.
we'll go to the track, and he was watching me the one day, and I pulled off, and he just started going off like, dude, you need to do this and this and this to it. Like, you're bouncing around everywhere. Like, he knows what he's talking about with it.
Yeah.
He's actually super smart.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
He might not look it, but
Yeah.
no, just kidding.
Don't let tattoos fool you.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, what are you saying, bro?
He's
Exactly.
He's 100% like a don't judge a book by its cover, because even
He's
like his
perfect-
business and
perfect
everything,
example.
like he's a businessman.
Dude, he is like the business.
Well, and he's cool and shit. I feel like he's cool as shit. I feel like he looks intimidating to people too. You know what
No,
I mean?
he's
Yeah.
probably one of the most outgoing people I know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
badass.
100%.
And he's just like, I understand now why like all the people that are close to him call him like, grandpa or whatever, like not just because he's old, but he looks out for everybody. Like
Yeah.
his people, he fucking takes care of.
Yeah.
Like even if you're just a little bit homies with him, he is always down to help out.
For example, the first time I ever met him, we like chatted on Instagram before and stuff like that, but I'd never like actually met him. Like, yo, what up? I'm Broc. I was riding Hondas at the time when I was still kind of doing moto stuff, and my wheels got jacked up. So I did a post like, anyone got any hookup on wheels? And he literally sent me a DM and was like, yo, I got a brand new set of stock wheels I took off my bike. Come pick them up.
Yeah. He's
He
one of
coulda
those.
easily
Oh, he
sold
gave
him.
him to you?
Gave them to me free.
Damn, that's nice because you didn't buy mine for $550.
Dude, Scott didn't give me the money for it.
No, it was funny because that was probably that time, right? When you were gonna get, you asked, you
Yeah.
wanted Honda parts,
Yeah.
and wheels, and I had those Honda wheels.
Yeah, and then I told your dad, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to get them, and then I was like trying to get help from Scott
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and it wasn't working out, and then Jeremy ended up hitting me up. He's like, dude,
Oh, that's better. I
come pick 'em
like
up.
free.
Rotors, everything on
Yeah.
it, tires.
He's just
That's
one of
it.
those dudes that like he don't need anything out of like the friendship. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he don't.
Yeah,
he
he's not a
don't-
give and take guy.
Yeah, he don't need nothing from you. Like
No.
he's not. He won't hit you up when he like just needs something from you. He'll just hit
Right,
you
he'll
up.
just give.
Yeah, he'll just be like, "Hey, do you want to ride today?"
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or
Like,
what do you need? Yeah.
Yeah, he's like legitimately a homie. So
Mm-hmm.
super cool to be able to know him. I mean, you're on the right path.
Yeah. No, I'm thankful to be, kind of involved with those guys as well, because I mean, you kind of are a product of what you surround yourself with. And, when I decided I wanted to try to pursue this, just because, that was like another thing when I quit racing, like in a big sense, I like suffered with like a lot of depression from it, because granted I quit because I wanted to take care of like my wife and my daughter that I had and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But then like deep down inside, a big part of me kind of felt like a failure, just because like my dad put so much effort into racing, and then, ended up passing away early. And then, I felt like obligated to make it because he sacrificed like everything for me. And so not getting to the point that I wanted to get to, it in a sense, just kind of naturally made me feel like a failure. So that's why when I was like, I want to do this, like I'm going to put myself with the right people, the best people, give it everything I got. And, I think I could do it. And, so far it's going pretty well. I mean, it takes time, but I haven't even been doing it a year, and I feel like I'm doing pretty well.
You've made leaps and bounds.
Yeah, you've come a long way in 1 year or
Like-
under.
Yeah. I mean, I started riding ramps around Thanksgiving of 2020, so I mean, I'm happy with the progress I've made. I mean, it definitely is a process. For
I
sure.
met you almost exactly a year ago, and you were full motoing. Not full motoing, but you were like
No,
you-
yeah, with Ansty,
Yeah.
I was still full moto, dude.
Yeah.
I never got to do outdoors, so I wanted to like try to do an outdoor push, and then things didn't come together, and I didn't get the help that I needed, to where I ended up just pulling the plug and saying screw it.
and even like the 2-stroke national and shit.
Wasn't that when Travis was supposed to put something together for you, or not? Was that not for outdoors?
Travis, the Yamaha
Gage,
dude, right?
yeah.
Yeah, no, that was kind of like a
Was it
supercross deal.
Oh, okay.
And then yeah, it was cool, but it was kind of up and down. And then
Right.
I had like an off-road deal come into play where I got an off-road ride and figured, hey, screw it, I'll go try racing off-road, because it was pretty decent deal at the time. And then I did one race and said, yeah, I'd never want to race off-road again.
It's so
just not your
gnarly.
style?
Dude, 2 hours in 117-degree weather at Mesquite for my first off-road race. Like,
That sounds so fun.
dude, it was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. Like,
Seriously.
I was so cramped up by the end. Like, my hands were completely bloody. Like, I felt like I was literally on autopilot. I was like, this is fucked. Like,
Dangerous.
I have
Right.
so much respect for the guys who do that. Like, Taylor Robert, dude.
Oh, he's unreal.
When I was fresh, first lap, he still was 9 seconds a lap faster than me. By the end of the race, he was like 45 seconds a lap faster than me.
That's
Damn.
unbelievable.
And so people don't realize how fit those dudes really are and how gnarly they really are, because that was the roughest track I've ever ridden over any outdoor anything. 100%.
Oh yeah, the closest off road race I've ever done, like to an off road race, is Day in the Dirt, and
Yeah.
even that, like
That's just like a bunch of chatter and just
It is.
fuck shit.
It is, but like even that, like just high speed. Like I like consistency. I like the track to be like predictable.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're going, 70 down a pavement road, and then you hop onto a fire road with rocks and shit, like that's not for me. That's
So
too
sketchy.
fast.
Yeah.
I don't. The fastest I want to ever go is going into Talladega at Glen Helen. Like that's it.
Yeah.
No track should be faster than that.
Yeah. That's the scary part too, is off-road. You have at least 3 or 4 sections where you're fifth tapped.
As
It's
fast as your bike
dusty
goes.
as hell. You can't see shit, and you're just like trying to focus on the little bit of color of the dude in front of you and be like, I hope I don't hit a rock or something. And yeah, dude, I crashed probably like 6 or 7 times that race, and I finished the race. I was like, yeah, I ain't doing this again. No.
Take your shit back. I'm good.
Yeah, I called the dude. I'm like, yeah, done.
In the words of the Zohan, it's not for me.
It's not-
It's not for me.
Not for me.
So, what did your amateur racing career look like? Like, how far did you get? Did you love it? Did you hate it?
You do Loretta's.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, it was a late bloomer type thing. Like, I didn't really like do amateurs from the normal Grom at like 50s. So I started when it was like 12 or 13. Did the 80 thing for a bit, got pretty decent on 80s, started riding 125s and doing 125 schoolboy and stuff, and then went to Loretta's and won a C title.
Ooh, big dog novice.
Yeah, super sandbagger. But
I missed my chance.
it paid off though, because fortunately I didn't get a bunch of crap talk from it, because my lap times were up there in top 10 of the 250B race, so it kind of like looked good for me in a sense, and I ended up getting a Yamaha ride like 2 weeks after. Got a full factory Yamaha deal with like Donnie Luce and T.O. Power Sports, and I rode for them for a few years, and it was pretty good.
They had a good program back then.
They did, yeah. I mean, it fell apart real quick, but for the
Yeah.
first 2 years I was on it, it was solid.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was always kind of like a top 5 dude. I didn't win a whole lot of championships. I won a couple. I won 2 or 3, like two World Mini, and then this other race that's not even going on anymore. But yeah, I never really killed it. And then right when I was getting ready to turn pro, I was riding for Amateur Suzuki at the time, and we were going to go to Canada for my pro debut, and then my dad ended up getting diagnosed with cancer and all that, so racing kind of got put on hold for like a year. And then my dad ended up passing away from it, and then decided, hey, you know what, some dude randomly called me to ride for his privateer supercross team. I hadn't even ridden a bike in probably 3-4 months, and was like, great idea, let's go race supercross. And that was a complete disaster, 100%.
Yeah.
Sorry, Julian, that didn't work out very well.
No, that wasn't Julian. This was a different guy. This guy was
Oh, it wasn't that deal?
no, this guy was Chris
Oh.
Neese, and he's actually in jail now or something like that for like
Nice.
domestic abuse on like these chicks and shit. Yeah,
Ooh.
dude's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Sounds like a wild
at one
program.
point he was running a team. So
Yeah, that's moto.
yeah.
I mean, might be kind of a dumb question, but I know you and your dad were pretty close. How did him passing away affect you? Did it make you not want to race anymore? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it was just so much to take in at the time, because he was my rock. I mean, like, me and my real mom, like, have a real rough relationship with, like, you know, a lot of shit that, you know, it's pretty gnarly to get into. So, I mean, he was, like, my savior, and just was the best dad I could have ever asked for. He gave me anything and everything I wanted. You know, I was pretty spoiled back then. Like, I didn't realize it then, but I realize it now. Like, dude, my dad was awesome. But he was pretty cool, man. It was like, as long as you got good grades, A's and B's, stayed out of trouble, do whatever you want, ride whatever you want, race wherever you like. Super cool.
Fully backed it.
Yeah, and then at the time too, my stepmom and I like weren't exactly seeing eye to eye. She wasn't a huge fan of how much money was getting spent on the racing and all that. So when my dad passed away, I kind of was just left for myself and ended up living with that guy whose team I rode for. I'd never even met him before, and then called him 2 weeks later and was like, hey, can I come live with you? I don't have anywhere to go. Like, I don't have a cell phone. I don't have anything besides my truck and my clothes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so it was pretty rough. I went into a pretty dark place for a while and figured going racing Supercross was going to pull me out of it. And sure as shit, right when I got into Supercross, I broke my heel, and it was a bad
Subconsciously,
time for sure.
it's very distracting.
Yeah.
You know, you might not think that it is, but in the back of your mind, it's definitely there.
Yeah, and I'd never been to a race without my dad either. So then to like actually go to Supercross and like not have my dad, like I think it just like mentally ruined me. And yeah, it was rough for sure.
That is
It was rough.
So what, I mean, would you say that once you kind of started getting into the free ride and the whip game that, I mean, were you depressed up until that point, or did that kind of start clearing
Maybe
it
up
up
until
for
you met your wife?
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely. I met my wife right before I actually started riding Supercross. Well, actually, I met her when I was 13, and then I tried to date her when I was younger. Here's a fun fact for you guys. She hates this story.
Ooh.
I tried to date her when I was younger, and she wouldn't date me because I was too small.
Oh.
Her
Miriam
excuse,
deals with that all
her
the
ex-
time,
her
but in
ex-
a different way.
Her excuse is I'm fully developed. I need like a bigger guy, and I was like this little like probably 5'4", like 110-pound two-stroke rider.
Like, I'll show you a big guy.
And then however many years later, you grew another 2 inches.
Yeah. Size does matter. So yeah, we started dating right when I went into Supercross, and then even with her, like I think I was just so fucked up from my family shit and like getting burnt by my own family that I didn't trust her for a while. I didn't trust anybody, and she definitely started pulling me around. I think the turning point for me with it was after I broke my neck in 2016, and she was 100% there for me. And like, I mean, she had to wipe my ass for me, so like that's pretty dedicated to me. And then and it got to the point too where just I started to hate the sport, which is another reason that I walked away. And I think going to Jared's that day and like seeing another side of riding again for once like really kind of revived me in a sense.
Yeah. So what is the goal with it now? I mean, we were talking about it on the last episode, like your whips now, I mean, you're comparable to Wanky and
Definitely X Games worthy.
yeah. Is X Games kind of the goal, or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's always the goal. Whether it happens or not, I'm not going to know. I mean, I definitely hang out with people who probably could put in a word for me or maybe open a door for me, but that's not the way I want to do it. I mean, I want to do it to where, like, I get gnarly on my own and to the point where
Earn
like,
it.
they want me to be in there. They say like, hey man, we want to invite you to X Games. Like that's what I want. Like I don't want something to where like, the door gets opened for me and I kind of squeak my way in because I don't know. I feel like for one, it just opens the door for people to talk shit. And for two, I don't think it feels as good getting kind of towed in rather than like earning it.
Right.
Yeah, so
there's not as much satisfaction in it.
yeah,
You're just
100%. Yeah, it's kind of like I feel like it's with racing too. Like when you're killing it as a privateer and you earn a ride, like you're like pumped, like dude, like
Right.
I earned this shit. Like I'm gonna go somewhere with it. Whereas like when you get it kind of just handed to you, you don't.
You don't appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean I could list. I'm sure we could both list a handful of riders right now who had that and
Piss it away.
It's just,
Yeah.
I think it's like the factor of like when you earned it, that hunger is still there.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
to where
100%.
if it kind of got handed to you, I don't feel like that.
Because it's like you're working for it and then you get a reward and then it's like I think it just makes you hungrier. Like
You
all
still have
right.
more to prove.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like I have a lot to prove. I feel like I'm capable. Obviously, I still have more to go. Those guys are absolute animals. I mean, Winky, Tom P, Behrman, Jared, like those guys, like on the snap of a dime can go upside down backwards. Whereas, like, I'm at the point right now where I'll have like 1 out of 5 is comparable, whereas the other ones aren't like quite as big. So I definitely got to get my consistency better, but also to just a little bit farther backwards, a little bit more upside down. It's coming. It's just, a process.
So just recently, we had the pleasure of going to Lake Elsinore for the DSC whip comp, which you had a big part of. Dylan, you might want to kind of touch base on this a little bit.
Yeah, well,
better
talk
than
about
me.
your involvement with it, how you felt it went.
Yeah. Well, it kind of just spurred like a spur of the moment type deal where I was there with Scott Cooney and Dino, and they were planning their second ride day because they did one last year. It was pretty successful, so then they threw an even bigger one this year, which was really dope as well. And at first, they wanted me to do something where I put on like a invitational money pit bike race, and sounded cool and all, but I was just like, honestly, I don't really give a shit for pit bikes, and all the guys that I know, like, they
Don't
like
either.
riding pit bikes and do cool stuff, but like they don't really care to race it because I feel like it's just like asking to get hurt.
Yeah, and they're dying out, I think.
Yeah, and so I was
Yeah.
just like, dude, like, no one puts on a whip contest out here. Like, the only time a whip contest even comes to California is if it's X Games. I was like, why don't we just put on a whip contest? Because, like, I'm trying to do that anyways. It'd be a cool way for me to see where I'm at and kind of gauge myself. But I feel like it would draw a big crowd because there's not really any events going on right now. And it kind of just worked out to like, yeah, like, if you can set it up, you can coordinate it, like, do it. And so I just took off with it and started reaching out to everybody, got everything what it needed to be, scrounged up the last little bit of money we had left over from the ride day, and it turned out sweet, I think. I mean, I haven't met one person who wasn't pumped on it.
Yeah,
No.
no.
That the turnout, I feel like, for the whip contest was huge. Like,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was-
definitely the biggest turnout of the weekend was for that.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people showed up just literally specifically just to watch that.
Yeah, it was definitely more people than I expected. I mean, when in the middle of the event, I remember looking over and like the whole hillside was covered. There wasn't even like an open spot.
Right.
No, it was
Which
packed.
was
It was
cool.
like shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Scott and Dino, they're, those dudes love, giving back to the community and stuff. And what did they raise for Road to Recovery?
They raised like $12,000 for
That's
Road to
crazy.
Recovery. Yeah.
I mean, imagine in 3 days, one weekend, $12,000 from two people that, their involvement in racing is just the pure fact that they love and enjoy to do it themselves. But, they don't get much out of it other than the satisfaction of doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's pretty badass to see two outsiders like them, lovers of the sport, give back like that.
Yeah,
For
because
sure.
I mean, you don't see many people at all giving back the way they do. And
Not at all.
There's a lot of people who are in a position to definitely do it and should, and they don't, which is, a big bummer, I feel. And I think the sport would be a lot better if there was more people like Scott and Dino and Lauren.
Right.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
You can preach it all day, but at the end of the day, if they want to do it, they'll do it.
Exactly.
I think that whip contest was honestly one of the coolest things I've been to in a long time. I mean,
Right.
for not a random event, but kind of just a, spur of the moment, out of nowhere whip contest at Lake Elsinore. It was pretty popping.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you had some good dudes involved. It was super hype. Everybody was stoked. Wanky walked away with $3,500 cash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost comparable to X Games.
Yeah, which is sad that, that
It really
purse
is.
was basically comparable to what you'll get at X Games. I mean, X Games isn't that much more.
No.
That's what's sad, but
Right.
it's kind of how the sport is, man. I mean, I feel like that's why the sport's struggling as much as it is, because so many people just have their hands out to make as much as they can that they don't realize, like, hey, we got to roll some of this back so it keeps blossoming and blooming. And
Right. Everyone's just looking out for themselves.
100%.
It's a very selfish sport.
Yeah, 100%.
But with Scott and Dino, we are going to have them on here soon, probably next episode. And not sure if they have all the details yet, but they are planning another event coming up, correct?
Yeah. Yep,
give
very
the
soon.
details that you can on that.
The details I can give is
He's
that
like, none.
I
Is
can
nothing.
give some. There's just legal reasons why I can't say all the details yet, but it's gonna be very soon, within the next 3 months max, I would say. It's gonna be a way bigger venue, a way bigger event, and a very, very big purse that I don't think really
Probably as big as X Game was at its best.
Yeah. I mean, it's
10, 20 years ago.
It's a giant purse. I'll put it this way, to where people will hear this number, and everyone who is even a remotely decent whipper is gonna be begging to be a part of it. Because
Right.
I mean, it's a way for guys to start making a living riding again. And I mean, that's what sucks, is it's like, unless you're rocking a Monster or Red Bull logo on your helmet, like,
You're not making shit.
you're not making shit. Like, no one pays purse money anymore. Like, back in the day, I know X Games used to pay 20, 30 grand, gold medal in best whip and all the moto disciplines. I mean, now it's getting under 10 grand for X
That's a
Games.
joke.
Well, and now, I mean, what do you maybe ride one X Games a year? I mean, back in the day, it
At best.
felt like there were
Back in the
multiple
day, there was
competitions.
multiple. There was like
Right.
almost like an X Games tour.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the whole point of it is just to put on an event where guys can actually make money riding again, whether you're sponsored by Monster or, you freaking have an 86 CR250 that you pulled out of a shed. Like,
Right.
if you're a bad dude on a dirt bike and you can do gnarly shit, like, we want you out there. And if you win, like, boom, there's your cash. Like, it's if you get first place, it's going to be like almost some people's salary for the year.
Right.
That's how big of a purse they're putting on. And
Is it going to be like invite?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
assuming.
it's
I mean,
gonna-
because it would be way too much for everyone to just show up.
yeah, and that's what sucked about the first one too, is the first one was an invitational, and I didn't have quite as much money to work with, and it was real last minute, kind of just see what I could do real quick. And it went a lot better than expected, and everyone was so pumped on it, which is why we're able to do this next one and do it at a scale that it's going to be. But it's like, I could only invite 10 dudes, and then it was like I had people hitting me up out of the blue, like wanting to be in it, and I'd be like, oh, sorry, man, like, it's an invitational deal, like, maybe next time. And then, some people were like saying some douchey comments, and I'm like, okay, well, you pretty much just punched your ticket for a fuck you.
Yeah, you can go fuck yourself.
yeah.
And you did yourself no good.
Yeah, but the next one, the plan is to try to do 20 guys and kind of do it like a bracket style, almost kind of like Supercross, where you have like your heats and you get down in the main.
Or like a straight rhythm.
Yeah, we're kind of not two-man deal, but kind of do like groups and then pick ones from groups that kind of goes down to like a final and
Right.
make it a lengthier event and a more enjoyable event for people, and also, give guys the ability to like take a break in between and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be bitching.
That
Yeah.
sounds fucking awesome. I think
It
that's I think that's huge for the sport, and I think that it's super important that somebody does it, because I think we're at the point now where, if you guys aren't doing it, I don't see it happening. Is this something that in the future, do you think it could turn into something like a series? Or
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I have a vision for it already. The guys are backing the vision that I have just because they love the meaning behind it. And the whole purpose is, there's so much shit in this sport that's so cliquey and so who you know and so who you ride for type deal, that it's like, I can't stand that, and unfortunately, that's the way the sport is. But the whole purpose of this event is we don't care who you are, what you ride, what you do, whether you're a trials rider or a supercross rider or whatever. Like, if you're gnarly, we want you there. And my goal for it is to end up being like a series deal where, we can do a couple events, throughout the year, and, whoever has the best overall score for all the events at the end of the year, like we try to give them, like a new Toyota truck or
like
something.
a triple crown.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, like that's my vision for it. How this next one goes will be a big determination on whether or not that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident it will, just because I feel like it's going to be really good and it's going to be really sick. And, the West Coast doesn't really have many events like this, so I think it's going to be really good.
And I think with everything starting to open back up, I think people are just kind of dying to go out and do stuff. I mean,
yeah, 100%.
The High Point National last weekend looked fucking lit.
Yeah.
And I mean, High Point's, usually pretty good anyway, but it looked like a Redbud National. Like, people were going
I'm excited
off.
to see Redbud this year.
Right. Like, it's going to be crazy, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Redbud this year is going to be gnarly.
yeah. And I think it's just people are just like fired up to be back outside.
Yeah.
And I think that's an opportunity for, a huge draw of people. I mean, again, if you're bringing in money that's going to bring in Behrman, Axel, fucking Harry Bink out of Australia. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to bring in all those big guys with the money, you're going to draw people in.
Yeah.
It's like going to
It needs
an
to be
X
a
Games.
worldwide event. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'd be badass.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be an event that we're planning to be so big that we're even like working on live streaming it some way, shape, or form. So
Yeah,
like,
100% you should.
Say you're East Coast, because I mean even the one at Elsinore, like I had dudes on East Coast hitting me up like, hey, is this going to be like Facebook Live or anything, like, and that was just for a little Elsinore event. So I mean,
But again, when you're dealing with people like Wanky and like, big name people, they want to see it.
They want to see him, yeah. So that's why I told these guys, I was like, if we can put up a purse, from this size up to where I know these guys will want to come because they're going to want that money, everyone's going to want to watch.
For sure.
I mean, that's like Supercross. Like, a lot of the reason people go to Supercross is because they want to watch Roxon. They want to watch Webb. They want to watch Reed. Like, they're fans. Like, fans want to support their guys. So yeah,
and it's cool being able to go see it live. You know what I mean? Like, it's like anything. Like, you can watch all this stuff on TV, but when you go to a Supercross race for your first time and like
there's nothing like it.
Gate's about to drop 450 main and all the fireworks and everything go off.
Oh, I get the chills talking about
dude,
it.
it's fucking gnarly.
I was just gonna say, like, we've raced it. I've seen a million gate drops, and even if I'm still like just watching it, like my palms get sweaty.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
why are my palms sweaty?
No,
right now?
that's because we're fans. You know what I mean? Like,
Because you
even
can feel it.
Yeah, like if I'm at the races and I don't make a main and I'm sitting in the stands, I'm obviously still pissed off. But
Right.
but it's still, you can't, like, even if I'm mad, you can't not get
Be
excited to
for the
watch
gate drop.
Roxon and Webb battle, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't, then you probably don't like the sport that much.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, imagine you can do literally the same exact thing with a whip contest. You just have a sick, for the finals, you have a sick opening ceremony with Behrman, Axel, and all the top dudes rolling out. And
Shoemaker even.
you make it lit. Yeah, Broc fucking Shoemaker rolling out. He got third at the last one, right?
Yeah.
Due to bike problems.
Due to
probably would have been a first.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I had a few people tell me that, but I mean, whips don't lie. But
I mean, I will say, I mean, and we've talked about this already, but you blew your wad a little bit in practice.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's what was cool too about the event, is it's like I learned what to do and not to do for the next one. Because I mean, we started practice and we did a 10-minute practice, and I was just like, I was so fired up that I was like, I'm ready to crank. And I even cranked some of the biggest ones I've done, to where like
For sure.
in practice I was like, holy shit, like this is gonna be gnarly.
Yeah, like if anybody's doing bigger than what I just did, then this is going to be fucked.
Yeah, because I did a couple in practice that legit scared me, to where I was like, dude, I'm not really comfortable going that big.
Yeah.
Especially, too, it was windy as shit.
There were a few where, like, I mean, I was walking around and, I talked to Twitch, I talked to Maddo, and they were all like, dude, Shoemaker's fucking, like, if he does this, he's got it in the bag.
Yeah, but then again, I blew my load right in practice, to where, I mean, even when we did the first qualifier, like, it was going really good and I felt really good still. And then yeah, I had whatever that electrical issue was when I was going off the ramp, and it just bogged out on me. And dude, my heart dropped so fast. Like I was ready to throw the thing away, and thank God it didn't keep dipping and it kind of like stalled out. But afterwards, I went into the back and I had BMC come running over trying to mess with it, and I was like, I don't know what happened. Like it just bogged. Like
Shout out to BMC.
Yeah, shout out
BMC Concepts.
Yeah, so he's over there like resetting the TPS and like all this crazy. And that's what I hate too, is it's like when it's electrical, you don't know. Like it could just happen again like that. Like I would rather like break my wheel and you swap the wheel. You know your dial.
I like hard parts.
Yeah, like you break a hard part, it's like, all right, you're chilling. Swap the part, you're good. When it's electrical, it's like,
Well, yeah, I mean, all bikes have their electrical stuff, but it's funny because back when I was on KTMs and Huskies, I've had like things happen, and I turn the bike off, turn it back on, never happen again.
Dude, they're notorious for it.
So it's like,
That's so freaky.
But if it catches you at the wrong time,
You're dead.
Yeah, and that's what happened though. Is like it did it at the event. Blake reset it, messed with it, unplugged shit, put it all back in.
But then that's in your head the whole time.
Yeah, and then I made it to the final for top 5, and we're even back at the truck messing with it more, and I'm like, dude, like, I'm sketched on this thing. Like, I don't really want to ride it anymore. And so then it mentally kind of started messing with me, but I mean, that's where, like, you know, being a competitor comes into play. You got to do mind over matter, which I tried my best to do, but I could tell, you know, from the very first whip I threw in final, like, all right, I'm already a little off.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's why when we went back out, Twitch was all, hey, like, how long you want to do? You want to do 5 minutes or 5 jumps? I'm like, fuck that.
3
5
jumps.
Like, can we do
Give
1
us
jump?
2 jumps, yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
He's like, no, fuck that. I don't have consistency. Give me 1.
I was like, I don't trust this thing, but no, it was cool. I mean, Wanky earned it. He threw some nasty shit as always.
Yeah, Wanky goes sick.
Shout out to Wanky, son.
Yeah, Hunter, he killed it too. That kid's so dope. I dig that kid so much. We've been kicking it since the event.
And that was cool. Is like that. Oh, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're
that event like totally put a spotlight on people that
good.
really
Didn't
weren't
have it,
known
yeah.
for that. Like Hunter Cross is now a whip kid. Like,
Yeah.
and it's cool because he's still going to races and he's still killing it. But now everybody knows that, like, if he's not riding moto and he's at the ramps,
He's throwing fat ass
tossing
whips.
he
it.
is tossing it. Hesh
Yeah.
Boy goes out into the hills with him, and
Yeah.
Oh, I know. They're BFFs now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
they are. Yeah.
finally Hesh Boy's hanging out with somebody his age and not 10
Right?
years older
Yeah.
than him.
But that's what's cool is he's just
Or
this
3 years younger.
18-year-old
Yeah.
amateur kid who, like, everyone always knew he's pretty fast in moto. I mean, I've heard through the grapevine he gets hurt a lot, so that's kind of hindered him. But, like, I think also, too, it kind of opened his eyes to where, like, you know, even me, like, I wish I would have kind of, like, had an eye-opener like this years ago to where I always thought it was, like, moto or nothing. Like, I was
Right.
so dedicated to it. But it's, like, I think it opened his eyes to him, too, where he's like, dude, like, I don't have to race. Because I've even had talks with him to where he's like, dude, like, I just want to ride ramps now. And I'm like, dude, you're so young. Like,
He's got to give it a chance.
Yeah, I'm like, still chase moto. You got a lot of help. You got a lot of backing. Like, at least go pro and see if you can figure it out. And I was like, you know, if you don't figure it out, at least you know, like, you have an opportunity doing whips. I mean, keep doing whips throughout the years so you don't lose it. But, like, the kid's 18 and freaking throws it. I mean, he blew his face out in the qualifier and still came back and got a second.
So gangster.
Yeah, he's not scared.
He went
No.
and changed his helmet instead of going out. Twitch and I were talking about it. Twitch was like, I'm so happy he didn't go out and Mike Metzger it and do big whips
bullet head.
with no visor. He literally went back, grabbed a different helmet, came back out, and kept tossing it. Like,
And what's funny, too, is after we did the first qualifier, he tossed his goggles to the crowd because he didn't think he made it. He was like, dude, I was just pumped to do it. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't even expect to be top 5. And he's like, then they called my name, and I was like, oh, shit.
Give me those back.
I
Give me
need to
those
go
back.
get goggles. And he
Yeah.
pinned it back and got
so
goggles.
funny, dude.
He's,
and like,
he's cool, dude.
and like Todd Cram, like, I mean, I've been watching Todd for a little bit now. Like, I've seen him progressing a lot, but like, he went there, and I think that now people are like, oh, Todd throws big whips.
Yeah.
Like-
I mean, Todd progressed a lot really quick, too. I mean, when he first started coming to my ramp with me, probably like 2 months before the event, like, he threw a pretty good whip, but like, and I don't think it was like gnarly. And then he just
Yeah, it was-
consistently.
It was nothing like, you know, you were like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
It was just like, all right, like, this kid's got good style. Now he's got some whips where you're like, oh, fuck, that was big.
Dude, he still like trips me out the way he does his like moto whip dip thing. It's like inverted.
It's super dipped.
Yeah, it's so dipped that I think it still scares the shit out of him, but it's gnarly because it snaps around, dips, like you think he's jumping over the bars, and he brings it back and lands it, and I'm like, that was stupid.
It looks good though.
It does look sick.
It
it's
looks
dirty.
Sick. And it's
dirty.
different. Like that's what's cool is it's kind of hard for people to make whips look different nowadays. Like
everyone's kind of look the same.
Yeah. And that whip is pretty different.
Yeah. But that's the hard thing with whip though too, is it's like you gotta kind of be able to throw it gnarly a couple different ways. Like you can get a buy with having like one gnarly one, but it's like
it's got to be insane, right?
I feel like you get a lot more respect when you're like gnarly in multiple different.
Yeah, you got to be
directions.
well rounded.
Yeah, like Behrman for example, he can do a nasty turn down and a nasty upside down whip and probably the dumbest turn up you've ever seen.
Yeah.
So it's that's why the guy is in the position he is, because he's just gnarly.
Yeah, he is super good at being able to do all of his different style whips. Mm-hmm. Super good.
Yeah.
Super stylish. And like turn-ups are weird because like people can do the first like 70% of them and make them look super good, but that last 30% bringing it back can ruin the whole thing.
Yeah.
And if you're not stylish bringing it back, it looks like dick.
It does.
And he makes it look super good.
I like Ritter's cross-ups better.
Yeah. I got to figure out how to get out of the fucking
Ritter's got the 90s cross-up.
Yeah.
That's all I know how to do.
The McGrath style.
Yeah, I don't know.
You got to start somewhere, man. Everybody's got to start somewhere.
But that's what I mean. I watch you guys and you guys just carve off the ramp. I'm like, dude, I'm good.
I will say the dude who has the gnarliest carve, though, is Wanky.
Yeah. It's stupid.
I don't know if it's just because he's so small and skinny, he's got to just throw every freaking bone and muscle into it he's got, or that's just
straight up
how he kind of just learned it. But like his swerve off the ramp is so
It is
dirty.
a swerve.
Well, now
you would think he'd go like off the ramp to the side.
He's straight heading left and then turns right. Like
I've like broke his whip down so many times just from like editing his clips, and right when he goes off the ramp, not even, he's not even at the very top of it yet, and his head is fully looking down.
Yeah.
Like fully turned and fully looking down. Like
110% commitment.
Yeah. Like
if he tried a 360, he'd probably over rotate.
That's what I was just gonna say. Is when he goes off the ramp, he looks like he's committing to
a 360.
A 3.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, Bilko barely carves on his 360s.
Right.
He makes him look so easy.
He does. He makes his look so easy.
Yeah.
Fucking Bilko.
He's funny though, dude, because you'll go out and ride with Bilko, and first jump out, he'll like bust a 3 or a backflip, like
I know,
floating the valves, and then it's like that's his warm up jump. It's like
literally.
Yeah, and then once he's warmed up, he'll give you the cliff humper.
Yeah.
And the fucking Superman.
Yeah,
hump
he doesn't
grab
warm up with like something small and stupid. Like he'll warm up with something gnarly and then kind of like break it down from there. And I'm like, dude, that's so gnarly.
Yeah, and that's Bilko. If you say that to him, he's just like, oh, hey, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. I've done it for so many years, mate.
He just sets the bar so high right away, and then he's like, all right, top that, bitches.
That fool's probably done more threes than anybody, though.
Yeah, he's like the 360 sensei, huh?
Yeah. 100%.
Fucking Aussies.
So what do you do from day to day? Are you making a living riding dirt bikes? Are you working a day job? What do you do?
Yeah, no, I'm not getting really much money from the dirt bike thing, so I mean it's definitely not paying the bills doing that. Obviously the goal is to try to get to that point, but so long story short, when I was racing Supercross every year, I always had to give my bikes back after Vegas Supercross to the Yamaha dealer that was helping me out. And I never had anything to really do or race during the summer, so I would just work during the summer. Started off as plumbing, and then I ended up meeting this family who owned a artificial turf installation company, and became real close. And long story short, they had some other companies that were doing really successful, and this one was doing pretty well too. And one day just hit me up and were like, hey, like if you want this and you want to run with it, like we'll pass it on to you. So took it over, started running with it, and that's what I do day to day now, and it's doing really well, and making a decent living doing it, and it's cool. I never really pictured myself working for myself that quick, which is great in one sense, but in the same sense too, it's super stressful. Because it's like, if you're not hustling, you're not pushing it, you're not making money, and I got a family to support. But yeah, just doing that. Coastal Turf.
Nice. Plug yourself in a little bit. How old are you?
28.
28. So you're doing pretty fucking good.
Doing all right.
Yeah, no, you're doing good. So essentially, like, if your grass is dog shit and you don't want to pay for new sprinklers, you call you, come in, lay some nice fucking.
So you actually lay the turf yourself?
I don't myself. I have 2 install crews.
Sounds like you made it.
Yeah, we're not doing bad.
He's like, I don't do the bitch work anymore.
Yeah, no, I have 2 install crews who slay it, and they're super good at it. But no, I mean, you don't even have to have like shitty grass. Like, I've been to people's houses who have the most immaculate grass you've ever seen, like something out of a golf magazine, who are just over the water bill because water in California is just stupid, and they want turf, and turf is booming in California right now. And, thankful for me. And, like, even in the pandemic, everyone refining their houses and better rates and taking mortgages out and all the other shit. Like, it worked for me, which was really good. But, I mean, yeah, whether you have grass there or dirt or concrete or whatever, like, we take it out and put turf in and, putting green, whatever you want to do.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
So Coastal Turf.
Yeah.
Coastal Turf. All right.
Yeah. Should we use this time to plug the rest of our sponsors?
Yeah. I was just gonna say while we're plugging Broc's business in, shout out to mxboot.com, who has been helping us out immensely. mxboot.com specializes in new and used off-road boots at the best prices online, in store, and at the track. But why are they different than buying anywhere else online? For one, they are a small business in your local area, and each and every one of you allow them to grow and provide more products for more track presence. But more importantly to you, they offer boot trade-in, which is massive. We are getting into that a little bit, which saves money on a new pair of boots by trading in your old set. Each boot is given a different value based on the model and condition. I know, Broc, you are dealing with the MX boot guy a little bit.
Yeah, super cool, dude. It's, a great way for me, like, when I quit racing, I lost my A-Star Connect, and boots are probably the hardest thing in the industry to get. I think
100%.
I think boots and tires are probably the hardest thing to get for free.
Yeah, but boots are fucking expensive.
Yeah, it's like some boots are like
$600 retail,
$700. It's stupid. Yeah, no, he's super cool. I just hit him up on Instagram, sent him a DM, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, like, I'll send you a pair of boots to use for a couple months." I think he gave me boots for 4 months, and I had to give him $120 up front for a pair, and then I just sent them back. And then I had another pair of like pretty fresh Tech 7s that he just straight swapped me a pair for. So the dude's legit. Super cool way to try to get boots at a good deal.
Yeah. And
I think he's definitely changing the boot game. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, granted, I don't think everybody's going to get that deal that Broc just explained. But
no, dude, even I've been very impressed though, watching like that limited edition boot came out. Those things were badass. And the day they released them, he has boxes of them, boxes and boxes and boxes, like tons. So he's on it, dude. Like his supply is very deep. He has every boot that comes out, he comes across.
Yeah. And you figure like Alpine Stars, all those limited editions, like they'll sell out of them pretty quick.
Yeah, and they don't make them anymore. They're limited edition.
Right. Yeah. So like honestly, even regardless that, they are helping us out, that's the way to go.
It is.
Because if you do have, even a shitty pair of boots, you send them into him.
And you get some value for them.
Right. What are you going to do with them anyway?
Yeah.
Send them into him. You get a better deal on your brand new pair.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of just getting yourself into a cycle with them where like, dude, fuck, I'll wear these for 6 to 8 months and I'll just send these ones in, get a way better value on them and get a new pair.
Yeah.
So definitely hit up mxboot.com if you need boots. It's just easy, simple, and that's what we're doing. So why wouldn't you want to do what we're doing?
I would also like to thank again, our new title sponsors, Monarch Heavy Haul, DSC Construction, and Extreme Recycling. That's Scott, Dino, and Lauren. Yep. Those dudes are badass. Like I said, Scott and Dino will be on the podcast most likely next.
Yeah, we're gonna get some
That's going to be a badass conversation. We're going to talk moto. We're going to talk business. We're going to talk lifestyle, everything with them. And yeah, they really went out of their way to help us with this, with the financial backing on the podcast and just trying to better ourselves. So always giving.
Yeah, shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
Really helping us out.
Absolutely.
And it'll be super cool to get in some actual intelligent people. No offense to,
Yeah, no, we're just a bunch of moto people are dipshits.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
no offense to all of us moto guys, but
We're all dumb.
it'll be cool to, actually talk to some smart, intelligent business people.
Yeah. But I think that's our cue about. I think we hit our mark.
Yeah, I think we're probably good for today. Broc Shoemaker, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
We've been talking about getting you in here for a while, so we're stoked that it finally happened.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And we'll put it on record that to anybody that thinks we just got him on because he started throwing fat whips, go fuck yourself, because I've known him way longer than that. So
Yeah.
I've known you since your dad was walking around the amateur nationals
Right.
with his shirt off.
Exactly. I mean, he still does
man.
that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's true. He still does.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Nothing's
Joe.
changed.
If I looked like Joe, even right now,
You would never buy shirts.
I would
I wouldn't wear a shirt
never
either.
wear a shirt.
I wouldn't buy one. Any.
Yeah.
I'd throw them all away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd shrink them all on
He's
purpose.
he's like the new age David Hasselhoff.
Straight up.
Yeah.
That's a good one. We should use that.
I do have to ask really quick, is it like, do you feel insecure bringing girls home? Like if you ever have to,
No, but the good thing, this is a good thing because when they see him, like usually when you meet a chick, you say,
where
well,
you're
what's
going.
her mom look like?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what she's going to look
That's a
like.
pretty solid
So
point.
I'm telling you right now, they come home and they see my dad and they're like, yo,
I'm sticking around.
I'm sticking around.
They're yelling dilly dilly.
Yeah, dilly daddy.
But
What's
the
up?
problem is Joe, I mean, no homo.
Yeah.
Joe is stud enough right now that he could easily take your chick. Like he's
yeah, I mean-
stud enough right now that your chick could go meet him and she could for sure be thinking, this is the jackpot.
I've
Like
had-
Yeah.
Dylan just.
I mean, I'm
led
going to be
me-
honest. Like, we don't have audio version yet, so I don't think he sits and listens to this whole thing
Hmm.
because I don't want to make his head any fucking bigger than it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah,
thing's
we're actually saying this knowing that he won't listen to it.
Nah, he'll definitely hear this fucking part. I guarantee you. My grandma will send it to him. My grandma watches all these. Shout out to my grandma
Oh,
Shirley.
shout out to
Grandma
shout
Shirley.
out to Grandma Shirley.
Yeah,
That's fun.
she's a saint.
Love that.
But
Sorry for all the shitty shit we say.
nah, she loves it. She enjoys it.
Cool.
So
All
that's
right,
about
well,
it.
we will check out. We are. I know I've been saying this, but we are back. We are going to stay on these, and Hush Boy, get us the fuck out of here.
All right, we're out.
Hush Boy, get us out of here, dude.
Open the fucking door. Peace.
Sweating.
Oh my god, I gotta piss and I'm sweating.
Oh my god, dude, swamp booty.
Yeah. Not bad.